We have a new Dragonlance book, which is coming out, and there's a lot of exciting features. We've got backgrounds, we've got feats, and we've got a subclass as well. So how about we dive into the backgrounds, because this is kind of important to where D&D is going in general, but these backgrounds have a lot of weight.
Yes, so in Shadow of the Dragon Queen, we introduce two backgrounds that are rooted deeply in the lore of Krynn, the world of Dragonlance. We have the Knight of Solamnia background and the Mage of Sorcery background. These backgrounds, as you indicated, are special in that they're not only tapping into these pivotal groups in Dragonlance lore, but they also give you a special feat when you select them. And as people who've been participating in the 1D&D playtest know, that that's a theme of a background giving you a feat that we're exploring throughout the game. Now, in this book, because we're zeroing in on a particular world in the D&D multiverse, we're able to have feats in these backgrounds that are tailor-made for those backgrounds. So in each case, you're getting a feat that really helps bring to life your identity as either a Knight of Solamnia starting out or a Mage of Sorcery starting out. And these backgrounds and their feats are a part of another special rule in this book that's all about you playing characters who are a part of this massive continent-spanning war. And so the characters here not only get that free feat at first level, but they get another free feat later. We also have made it in this book that if you don't select Mage of Sorcery or Knight of Solamnia as your background, you still get a free feat at first level, and we provide a short list of the feats you can choose from should you decide your character isn't a part of the traditions of high sorcery or connected in any way to the Knights of Solamnia. So we wanted to make sure that whatever character you're playing, you're going to get that free feat at first level, and then there's sort of what we think of as the War of the Lance boost. Right. That you get at higher level, where you get your free feat. Now, part of this is connected to not only us viewing characters who are part of this war as being especially honed in the flames of battle, but it's also because in the adventure in Shadow of the Dragon Queen, we made the encounters harder than normal. So we gave the characters this boost, and then in most of the encounters in the product, not all, but in most of them, the difficulty of the encounters is up on the higher end. So people are going to feel like they're being pressed often, that really the stakes are high, and that is intentional.
Who are the Knights of Solamnia?
So the Knights of Solamnia are a group of knightly orders that are appropriately from Solamnia. So they have a vested stake in the defense of Solamnia as a nation. But they are a number of orders that are past their prime. They saw the majority of their esteem prior to the Cataclysm, and since the Cataclysm, they have in part been blamed for the Cataclysm. So they have receded from across the world, much more back into Solamnia, and in many cases they're seen as a vestige of an age past.
Why are they largely blamed for it?
In part because of Lord Soth. A member of their order had the opportunity to prevent the Cataclysm, and they didn't. And then the Cataclysm happened, and then these knights who were all across the world and were meant to be the defenders of the defenseless failed. And then just the general devastation that occurred meant that they lost lost much of their territory, lost much of their ranks, as did all the people of Krynn, and now they are largely seen as legendary figures who in the past rode metallic dragons and like drove back the Queen of Darkness, but now, well, it's those groups who cling to outmoded ideals of honor. Now, so why would you want to be one of them? Is because their ideals might not be popular, but they are not outmoded. And you have the opportunity to play characters and even take one of the two backgrounds that are in Shadow of the Dragon Queen and the associated feats that go with them to become Knights of Solamnia, or to do the same with the Mages of High Sorcery. Both backgrounds provide an entry point to a number of feats that then allow you to, have some character options associated with either of these groups. But if you choose to take the background that makes you a Knight of High Sorcery, that would be cool, but a Knight of Solamnia, or take another path to becoming a Knight of Solamnia. Either way, if you choose to go that direction, then you have the opportunity to create a character who's a representative of, this heroic order, and that has classically fought back against the forces of the Dragon Queen. So you have this great story where maybe the people see you as somebody who doesn't really belong or is part of a, fallen order, but you have the opportunity to not only claim your own heroics, your own honor, but then to also show that the virtues of these heroic knights are just as worthy, just as powerful, and just as much a weapon against the forces of darkness as they were in the past.
And they also have other orders within these knights themselves. We've got the Knights of the Sword, Knights of the Crown, Knights of the Rose, and all of those have corresponding feats attached.
Yes. So if you choose this background, the Knight of Solamnia background, you were able then to choose in the feats how you want to focus. And so yes, with the Knights of Solamnia, you decide, are you going to align yourself with the Crown, the Rose, or the Sword, and the feats give you different abilities based on that choice.
So every one of the different orders they're still Knights of Solamnia, but they give you the opportunity to maybe focus on more the martial angle, or perhaps a more religious angle, or a more command focus angle. The Knights of the Sword, for example, are very martial minded, and they get benefits for being in groups or fighting with their allies and whatnot. That's not to say that you have to choose just one. In the course of your career, you can choose to become a Knight of the Sword, and then over time, maybe choose the feat that makes you associated with the members of the Knight of the Rose. That does not mean that you've lost everything that you've forgotten from being a Knight of the Sword. You still have access to those abilities, but now you've chosen to move on to something more. You could potentially gain all of the feats associated with the knighthoods, and that just makes you the knightiest knight.
Again, one of the beauties of being able to create feats that are specific to a particular setting is that we can really drill into the theme of particular groups, particular cultures, particular types of creatures. And you definitely see that in all of the feats that are present in this book.